Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be discussing the most important topic, the big transformations which are going to take place in this year, in the upcoming days, upcoming months of the 2022. Many important transits, the planetary transits which are going to take place in 2022 itself, and it will leave some big impacts for the coming days to come, because it is about the planets who moves very slowly, be it Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu or Ketu. We call it planets, but in the Vedic astrological term we call it grahas. Specifically when you are talking about Rahu and Ketu, they are shadow planets. Now these four, Rahu, Ketu, Jupiter and Saturn, they will change the respective signs, and since they are very slow moving planets, so they will be staying in that particular sign for so many days, and it will bring some changes for every one of us. And these changes will not come all of a sudden, it will take some time, and it will grow and grow and grow, and then those changes will take some shape in our life, and we can understand, we can feel it. But the most important part here is that just before these transits which are going to take place, in the month of February 2022 itself, 26th of February, Mars is changing its sign. At present, Mars is in the ending degrees of Sagittarius. On 26th of February, Mars will enter the sign of Capricorn. It will get exalted. It will get conjunct with Saturn. Now, whenever a planet transits through its own sign or Mul Trikona sign or exalted sign, the awareness of the planet increases. The planet feels much more comfortable. Now when the planet feels much more comfortable, what happens? The significance of the planets requires much more responsibilities and duties to be performed. So whenever any planet, now in this case it becomes Mars, it is getting conjunct with Saturn. Now Saturn is a very slow planet, whereas Mars is a very fast planet. Okay, it takes the actions very fast. It does not like anything to be very slow, and that is the reason you will see the Mula Trikona sign of Mars is Aries. The characteristics of the sign Aries is that where we need to do fast track actions, very straightforward, no laziness, no delays. We need to take the proper actions, do it now and now. So that is what the Mula Trikona sign of Mars is, but now it is getting exalted in the sign of Capricorn. Had it been only Mars over there, the result could have been different, but now it is getting conjunct with Saturn. The energies are quite opposite to each other. Now if we talk about Mars, Mars considers Capricorn to be a neutral sign to it, because Capricorn is lorded over by Saturn, and Saturn is considered to be neutral by Mars. But for Saturn, Mars is an enemy planet. So conflicting energies will be there. Even if one planet is in its own house, own sign, other planet is exalted. So this kind of energies can be taken in one other side, is that two malefic planets, true straightforward natural malefic planets, they are getting energies, they are getting some dignified energies. One is in its own sign, one is getting exalted. So whenever the malefic planets gets strong influences and conflicting influences, then definitely some conflicts wheresoever the houses where these transits are taking place, we face it. Now since here Mars is getting exalted, we need to confront it, we need to fight it out, we need to put our necessary efforts and actions, the necessary energies in correct path, and then only we can get the good results. Because don't forget, when we talk about the upcoming transits, the bigger transits, In the month of April, Mars will change its sign. In the month of April, Saturn will also change its sign. Saturn will come into the sign of Aquarius on 29th of April, and it will be there in this sign of Aquarius, and after a few months again it will retrograde back into Capricorn, but for few months it will be there in the sign of Aquarius. Jupiter will change its sign. It will go into its own sign Pisces on 13th of April. If we talk about Rahu and Ketu, then on 12th of April Rahu is changing its sign in its retrograde motion. As usual, retrograde motion is coming into the sign of Aries. On the other hand, Ketu is changing its sign. It is coming into the sign of Libra in its retrograde motion. Now, in the month of April or month of April onwards, you will see few things. Jupiter in its own sign, Saturn in its own sign of Aquarius, Rahu has come into the sign of Aries, Ketu has changed its sign to the Libra. It will be during that time when Mars will be in the sign of Aquarius, because Mars will change its sign in April and it will come into the sign of Aquarius. So in the sign of Aquarius also, for few days Mars will be in conjunction with Saturn. The story has not ended in Capricorn. It will be, the second part will be in the sign of Aquarius. Now you can take it in one way or the other. Take it that when Mars comes into the sign of Capricorn, it is getting exalted, so it will give, definitely any planet, if it becomes exalted, it definitely bound to give some good results, isn't it? And whenever we talk about energy, because for any work we do, we need energy and proper karma. That is what the sign of Capricorn is. So definitely some good results are expected. That is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that conflicts, disputes, or any kind of situations which may come in front of us, which needs to be properly confronted. So any kind of behavior which is very rough, which is very rash, very harsh, should be avoided during that time, because the Saturn and Mars conjunction can lead to some kind of accidents, injuries, explosions. I mean it. So we need to be very careful regarding how we are dealing with the people, or how we are dealing with the real life events regarding the house or the placement whatsoever in our horoscope these particular planets are getting transited into. If we talk about Saturn, then when Saturn comes into the sign of Aquarius, that will give much more better results, I will say. Looking into the fact that it is the Mula Trikona sign for Saturn. Again, this is one part that it will be giving good results, but again when Mars enters the sign of Aquarius and getting conjunct with Saturn, Aquarius is a very airy sign and Mars is that fire. The fourth aspect of Mars will be falling directly on the sign of Taurus when Mars enters the sign of Aquarius. So we have to control our speech regarding our family values, regarding our spendings, expenses. We need to be very careful regarding our daily behavior, daily work life, because that fiery emotions can get into air and we can understand that sometimes it becomes very devastating. But if we look into the positive side of this transit, specifically with respect to Saturn, which is its Mula Trikona sign Aquarius, it will be giving you much more better results, I will say. It is just like that, now you have learned something and you are doing for the better good, for the betterment of the society, doing something for every one of us. The humanitarian approach of Saturn can be seen in this sign of Aquarius. On the other hand, if we talk about Jupiter, from last 2 years when it was in the sign of Capricorn and now at present when it is in the sign of Aquarius, at least it has come out of debilitation. But when it enters the sign of Pisces, some relief can be expected with respect to Jupiter. At least we can feel that yes, the love, the compassion, the divine love, spiritual growth can be expected during that time. But again, everything has got some other side also. During that period, if you look very carefully, second from Jupiter will be Rahu, 12th from Jupiter will be Mars and Saturn. So Jupiter will be in a Pap Kartari yoga. It will be hemmed between two malefics. So the houses which are generally significated by Jupiter, 2nd house, 5th house, 9th house, 11th house, these houses or the significance related to these houses has to be taken care during that time, because Pisces is the sign which tells us that now I have achieved everything in my life and now it's the time to leave the attachment to it. It's like you have done everything in life and now you have felt that yes, I have everything, now I don't need anything more. This is the experience which the sign Pisces gives you, because it is the last zodiac sign. The planet has to travel the whole of the zodiac and then it has to come into the sign of Pisces. So now Jupiter will feel that it is the time to give away for the charity, for the other people, for love, compassion, universal love. Basically it is the spiritual love. But since it will be in the Pap Kartari yoga of Rahu in one side, Saturn and Mars on the other side, and the moment Mars changes the sign, Mars will be in conjunction with Jupiter also. So you can see in one particular case that Jupiter is in its own sign, but it will be along with Mars as the days goes by. Second from Jupiter will be Rahu, 12th from Jupiter will be Saturn. So Jupiter will be afflicted, no doubt about that. So due to the virtue of this transit of Jupiter into the sign of Pisces and the corresponding impact by the malefic planets, it may also happen that it can take us to that overconfident level that yes, everything is okay, I don't need to take care regarding that much. I can live my life in that solitude, in that compassion, and in the meanwhile what happens? The significance of Jupiter with respect to all the houses, the 2nd house, 5th house, 9th house and 11th house, it suffers. It may also happen that due to that overconfidence, yes, I mean it, the overconfidence, because we feel that everything is okay. Because Pisces is the sign where everything becomes dissolved. It is all about the mysticism, spirituality. It is not about the material gains and everything. Okay, correct. So somewhat it can take us to that overconfident level also, because we are overlooking the things. So that will be a time when we need to make sure that while spending our life, spending the lively moments in that solitude, in that isolated environment, are we not overlooking the things with respect to our finances, our expenses, our family values, tradition, culture? We also need to take care regarding our progeny and children. Very essential, I will say. Since it is also the significator of the 9th house and 11th house. Now since 12th house, that is the sign of Pisces, is 4th from the 9th house, that is Sagittarius. So it may happen that you may feel that yes, I can make some spiritual journeys. Specifically when Mars will transit into the sign of Pisces, it may happen that depending upon our horoscope, we may feel that yes, I need that solitude, I need that me time where I can explore the jewels of spirituality. It may happen like that. But more we are going into that part of that life, it may also happen that our lively responsibilities, we need to strike a balance in that. And why I am saying it? Because the moment Jupiter enters the sign of Pisces, it will become exalted in the sign of Cancer in the D9 chart. In the transit, it will be in the sign of Pisces, but in the D9 chart, it will become exalted in the sign of Cancer. So, responsibilities towards our home, our homeland, anything regarding our conveniences, domestic responsibilities will increase. So, we may feel that what should I do? Should I take care regarding this, or should I go away with the life of spirituality? This tension will be more because of this malefic influences. If you talk about Saturn also, the moment Saturn enters the sign of Aquarius, in the D9 chart, it will become exalted in the sign of Libra. So yes, responsibilities towards the relationship will increase. Definitely. In the transit, Ketu will transit in the sign of Libra. In the D9, Saturn will transit in the sign of Libra. So yes, I will say that towards our relationship, towards our partner, we need to understand the core, follow our discipline, commitment. At times you may feel very detached because of this transit of Ketu. You may feel that in order to achieve the higher good, because it will be transiting through the Visakha Nakshatra, correct? I am talking about Ketu. So, in order to achieve that materialistic gains of that higher order, you may feel that I need to keep away from the detachment of relationships and take more care regarding my aim and purpose of life. But in doing so, you may also feel that am I wandering, or am I deviating from a path? You may feel like that. Why? Because in the D9 chart, Ketu will be transiting in the sign of Gemini. So, the communication factor between you and your partner has to be taken care very carefully. And yes, that is the time when responsibilities will increase, because you may feel that should I take more care regarding responsibilities of relationship, or should I take care of my materialistic desires, or what is the correct path, or should I become detached from any of them? So that is what the wandering can be understood, because Saturn will be exalted in the sign of Libra in the D9 chart. So responsibilities will definitely come in front of you. And that is the reason this particular transformation, and it's a big transformation, I will say. These planets or grahas, what we call Rahu, Ketu, Jupiter, Saturn, they all move very slowly. Their movements are very slow. So the time when we come to understand that yes, the things are changing, it becomes very late. So it should be within us. We should understand that yes, are we prepared for that? Now, since the sign Libra will be impacted deeply, so yes, I will say, in order to achieve that mental peace, the domestic happiness, because Jupiter will be exalted in the sign of Cancer in D9 chart. We need also to perform our duties towards our partner, spouse, relationships. Now, here does not means that only partner. Relationship can be between anything, means two friends also. The binding, the ability to bind with each one, responsibilities and commitment. So here, if we talk about Rahu in this context, on 12th of April when Rahu enters the sign of Aries, the sign Aries is basically anything related to me, I, and anything which is done by myself. Aries is a very fiery sign, very energetic sign, and Rahu is that self-obsession. So it may happen that wheresoever the sign Aries lies in your horoscope, you become very obsessed regarding the significance of that house, of that sign, and you may feel that I need it now, means now. I need to do it now, means now. There is no time lag, there is no delays, or you may feel that yes, I don't need the delays, I need to just do it, complete it in proper order. And this will be in more impact because if you check the D9 chart of that particular transit, you will see that Rahu will be transiting in the sign of Sagittarius in the D9 chart. So here Rahu is making you feel that yes, take the necessary knowledge, look for the optimism and do it for yourself. No looking here and there, just follow the proper path and do it by anyhow you want, anyhow you can, just do it. So it may also happen that the knowledge system, the higher spiritual knowledge system, Rahu may make you feel that in order to get that goal, you can manipulate the things and you can achieve it. And just opposite to Aries is Libra, where Ketu will be transiting. So all your focus will be towards your own self, that is the sign of Aries, away from the relationships. So you may face that constant strain where to give more focus, because that self obsession will be high when Rahu transits through the sign of Aries. On the other hand, Saturn will be exalted in the sign of Libra in the D9 chart. Although Ketu is transiting in the sign of Libra in the transit, so you may feel that the energy shifts. At one moment of time you will feel the responsibilities are increasing. At one moment of time you will feel that you can leave about all these things and focus on your own self. I will be discussing regarding these transits of Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Jupiter, or even Mars in detail for all the 12 ascendant signs in upcoming days, because these transits are going to be very transformative, very essential, very important to understand. These are not a day or two affair. It is going to bring huge energies in every one of us life. It is not only about one particular planet when there it is changing sign. It is about a collective impact. If you only see that Jupiter is changing its sign, it has gone into the sign of Pisces, it will give very good results. Okay, definitely it will be good for spirituality, compassion, charitable works, religious or spiritual reforms, something which is good for you. You can get attached with your guru. move to some faraway lands and learn the spiritual riches of tradition and culture. That's one part of the life. The other part of the transit is that if you look very carefully, it is getting the malefic impact from all the sides. Second from Jupiter will be the sign of Aries, where Rahu will be transiting. 12th from Jupiter will be the sign of Aquarius, where Mars and Saturn will be transiting. And eventually when Mars changes the sign, it will be in the sign of Pisces itself. So yes, Jupiter will be afflicted. So the results which we feel that we must get it, it may not be in that particular order. Interestingly, when Mars enters the sign of Pisces, initially it will also be debilitated in the D9 chart. So yes, it's a collective energies which we need to understand. Because if not now, then when? When we look into these transits of these planets, specifically Jupiter and Saturn, because they will be both in their own sign and they will be exalted in the D9 chart. So responsibilities, the awareness of the significance of these two planets will also increase. So even if there are malefic influences, still the responsibilities will come in front of you. And the most striking feature is that whenever a planet becomes very dignified in the transit or in the horoscope, even if the problem comes, you are unable to overlook the situation, you are unable to move away from the situation. So you need to take the responsibility. So even if in the sign of Pisces, Jupiter may make you feel that now leave all these things, follow the higher being, that supreme soul. That is what the sign of Pisces is. But the responsibilities will come in front of you. So you have to follow those part of your life also. And then only you can understand the total picture, both sides of the coin. If you just look into one part, it becomes very good. It just like that happy go merry moments, correct? But it's not every time like that. We have to see the total picture, and then only we can come into a conclusion that whether the things are going to be very good or difficult for us. Definitely, since these 4 planets, now if you include Mars also, then it's a 5 planet combination. So if you are going through the dasas of any of these 5 planets, it will impact you more. If you talk about some more months, Mars and Rahu will be in conjunction. When Mars comes out of Pisces, Mars and Rahu will be in conjunction. So yes, upcoming months will bring so many changes, so many energies, so many things will come in front of us, and we need to take care of that, each and everything properly. And anytime, if you want a consultation from me with respect to this particular transit, that how they are going to impact you with respect to your birth chart, your natal position of planets, your dasa system, then check the links in the description section, and you can find my email ID also. You can get connected with my Facebook and Instagram account. You can directly mail me and have a one-on-one consultation with me. And if you are new to this channel, then tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video, you get notified instantly. So next time when I come, I will be making separate videos for all these transits, for all the 12 ascendant signs, in a more descriptive manner, that how they are going to impact you, and it will come in front of you in the subsequent days. When I make the video and I upload it, you can get to know about that. So till then, when I come back for the next time with another video, I'm signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.